It's doing the circle, and now we're live.
We are live.
Welcome back. Welcome. That's what we do. I don't know why, but it's become a thing, and that's how you know it's MCU Mondays. We're going like this. It is. It's Monday, and that means MCU Mondays. We had a break. It was nice, and now we're back because so are the shows, so we got to talk about them. I'm your host, Chris. I'm here every Monday that we feel like being here, and I'm here with my co-host, Debbie, who's here all the time.
It's what I live for, Chris.
She is the beating heart of MCU Mondays.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but
I was going to be the cold, calculating brain of it, so... Because when people think of me, they're like, that cold, calculating...
What does that make me, the pinky toe?
I have no idea. You're like an appendix. No, I'm just kidding. Maybe you're the kidneys. They're important. I don't know. Liver? What do you want to be? We got heart and brain. What else do you want to be? The eyes. He sees for us. I'd not know a thing were it not for sweet, sweet David. Speaking of which, we're joined by David. David, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. I am not one metaphor for some appendage. I am an actual person. And so we're all people. People that appreciate Marvel. David actually also very much appreciates Star Wars. I know we all probably do as well, but David, he runs that Thursday show. What's that called, David?
The GNN Cantina Happy Hour. We're there Thursday nights, right about this time, Thursday nights. We're in the middle of Kenobi. We're 4 episodes. We'll be discussing episode 5 on Thursday night. Yes. I know a lot of people don't like it. Whatever. Come watch it. Come watch it and find out why you're wrong. Come watch our show, find out why you're wrong.
Or why you're right. And no, I'm just kidding. I don't know what's on, unless I'm on your show, and then I'll take the negative opinion because I take that upon myself.
Always devil's advocate. I see.
Well, I have to. If everyone else that is on the show is praising something, then clearly I don't need to add my praise unless there's something specifically that everyone else missed. I don't need to add my praise onto theirs, but if everyone else is praising it and I have things that I didn't like, I'll be the guy that goes ahead and say, hey, I'm going to do that today. And that's why people show up for MCU Mondays, because we have a wonderful, conversation, and we have all different sides being supported. And we have Debbie to calm me down.
I will be talking for myself. This is an open and shut case, and anybody who can't see that is a savage and an idiot.
Okay. And so let's get into it. Today we're talking all about the first episode of Miss Marvel. And there's a lot to talk about, I think. So let's get going with the theme song so we can actually officially start the show.
Theme song guy.
Oh, yeah!
Yeah! All right.
That's great.
I thought you would like that one. That special opener. That's right. A new opener every week. Moon Knight was a lot of fun, I have to say. But already I've got a lot of fun stuff to work with Miss Marvel. And I will say that's one thing I have very much appreciated about this is the editing, the chances they're taking with some special effects, all different kinds of stuff they're doing with that. And I just want to say, hold on, we got, hey, y'all, Avocado, and Travis. Hey, how you doing? Hey, we're doing good. It's MCU Mondays. We're glad to be here. I want to show that opener one more time because there are some things specifically in there that we're going to end up talking about today but we're going to watch it a little bit later. You'll get a refresher on it. But that's what we're talking about. That's the main focus of today's episode is Miss Marvel episode 1. What do you think about it? So it is just the first episode. This is our first out of how many? I don't know. I think it's more than Moon Knight. I think it's 9. It's 6?
6?
Is it 6 or 9?
It's probably 6.
Hang on, I'll find out.
David's going to find out.
I'll be the
It's
eyes.
a certain amount of episode. He's the eyes, see? It's all panning out. It's all turning up aces.
6 episodes.
Really? Just 6
6.
episodes. Okay. 6 episodes of Miss Marvel. So this is just the first episode. She's just kind of getting into it. And I think there's a lot to talk about here, but we really don't see, and as you can be expected of the first of 6 episodes where you're just first getting the superpowers, she barely has superpowers at all in this first episode, which I think is...
It builds the character.
It's
Who
to be
is-
expected, I think.
Story arc.
Who was she before she had her powers that made her what she is when she had
That's
her powers?
important.
Yes.
That's
it's very
important to know.
Awkward, outcast,
You know?
teenager.
you're in high school.
That's how you begin the story. I mean, like the story of Aladdin, it starts out with him being like, "This is my life as a street rat. I don't want to be that." And he looks at the palace and he has dreams, and that tells you this is his normal life, but this is what he dreams of. So that's kind of what this episode is. This is her normal life, kind of a big event for her in her normal life. There's a lot of things coming. I think it is also meant for the younger generation,
Definitely.
like kids that are dealing with like this kind of stuff in high school right now. For instance, when they were going through, and we can back up and talk about other stuff, but I just remember when they mentioned that one girl had like 100,000 followers or something. And I was just
Zoe?
like, oh yeah. I was like, what kind of dynamic does that throw into your social life that like didn't even exist when I was in high school? At least certainly not to that level. That didn't exist, you know?
And it also had the Miles Morales into the Spider-Verse jive to it.
Now that you've seen that,
With all the stuff going on.
with all the stuff. So how did you feel about the stuff, by the way? Let's talk about that. I have mixed feelings on it. Some of my feelings are very good. Like, for instance, I really enjoyed a lot of what I was seeing, but I was worried. Well, that's why I was saying I think it's for the younger generation, because a lot of that stuff is they use it during transitions. I think it's very cool. Like the signs are doing emojis. That's not what those signs normally look like. Like this is...
Well, you had the signs doing the emojis. You had the when they were sitting there talking about her costume and how they were going to make it hers, and they had all the ideas that they were bouncing off of each other were happening in the graffiti art
on the
behind
walls
them as they're moving.
Yeah.
I liked it. I thought it was great. I thought it was amazing.
Oh yeah,
it was cool, but it was like I was trying to watch that. I was trying to watch the captions, and it was a little much for me. But I did like when they were texting, and they're texting back and forth, and you see the text on the street, you see the text in the neon signs. I thought that was pretty cool,
and it was all building too.
it's certainly a more interesting transition than just cut to him upstairs, or it's certainly better than character looks at cell phone and you just see this happen on a cell phone.
Mhm.
I think it's definitely better than that. I do think for some viewers this will be confusing, but not for anyone in the generation of the people that it's meant for. You know what I mean? And
it's meant for them. It is.
I
enjoyed it, but I realize it's not for me. Well, I'm not going to say it's not for me. I'm just saying it's
maybe
not,
that
it's
aspect
not
of it isn't
marketed
aimed
towards
at,
me.
yeah, right. And there's stuff in it that's like cartoony and kid-like, but I'm like, well, she's also kind of cartoony and kid-like, and at an age where it's still, it's only once you get really much older than that people are like, why will you not quit acting like a child? And I'm like, because I enjoy having fun.
Yeah, I could relate to her somewhat on her
I could
being
relate.
in Fantasyland or La La Land and daydreaming and all that. I mean, when I was maybe a little, I'm not sure what age she's supposed to be, 16 or
16.
16. She was getting her
test.
driver's test. Yeah.
so, you know, I mean, when I was younger, for me, all I did was fantasize about Star Wars. I mean, I'd listen to the vinyl, and I could just see the scenes because I'd seen the movie so many times. I could see the scenes in my head just going along with the music. So I can relate to her on that level.
Debbie, that's why I started making like the music videos and the Star Wars music videos and the Marvel music videos that I make, is because I would listen to music and I'd see the scenes and I was like, how do I learn to start doing this? And that's why I got into editing and everything like that, is so I could put the things that I saw in my head actually up on the screen for other people to see. And then it's a crazy job of finding your own style and how you think of things versus other people. And it's, you know, it's all art at that point, which is what I really dug about this episode, was a lot of the artistic stuff. When we're talking about the way that they did the transitions, the way that they did the texting, the way that her imagination worked, there was some very cool editing that went on there that kept you kind of, you had to stay involved. You had to stay, you know, but that's also, when we talk about it being for this new generation, it's because like you have to keep the attention or else it's going to drift, because there are so many screens and so many things happening all around you. I will say, I don't understand. If that opening credit sequence or whatever, the opening thing where she's talking about,
He's doing the YouTube video or whatever.
the YouTube video, dude. I'm like, why is everyone questioning what you're going to do with your life? You're clearly a phenomenal graphic artist. You made that. And it's like, I have 2 subscribers, and one person was like, wow, that was amazing. I was like, that's good enough to be in a Disney Plus show, because it is literally what the artists of the show did for the best thing that they could do. How? And then, but they, you know, that's part of all the things moving. That's her imagination. And then later the chalkboard.
I was
Remember the chalkboard when she draws on the chalkboard? How long did that take? How good are you? That good of an artist? What are you worried about? Stop everyone questioning what you're gonna do and just be like, look, I'll just do that.
I'll be a
I know
graphic
I
artist.
know that it's not that easy. I know that it's not that easy. But I just look at that aspect of it and I'm like, that's the thing that's missing, is as someone that also does some of that stuff, like the time that it takes to do that. If you're just like, oh, this is so easy for me, look at how I make this. Like, how much time did it take to? So that part of thing is kind of blown out of proportion. That's the thing that I'm like, what? The superpowers I'm fine with. Yeah, that makes more sense. How long did it take you to make that video, and how did you do it? That's what I want to know. I'm asking the real questions. All right. But that aside, I did like the interactive graphical aspect of it. It really seems like it's, and that's the other thing about this show, is that it seems like, you know, when you're reading a book and you have to trust the narrator at a certain point, and you have an untrustworthy narrator, she's kind of the narrator of this, especially at certain point. I mean, at certain point, it's just her imagination, which I also thought was kind of cool, but
Well, this is all from her point of view. Everything.
Yeah. But it's also, the other thing that I could connect with is her being raised in a very strict household. Because I was raised in a Catholic household, like church every Sunday, holy days. I went to Catholic school until college. I went to an all-boys high school. It was just very strict. So when their parents were being strict, I was like, yeah, I get that. The thing that I couldn't connect with was when she screwed up on the driving test and the parents were yelling at the teacher. And I was like, now I don't connect with that at all, because they would be screaming at me for fucking up their car. Like, they would be screaming at me, what did you do to this car?
can't believe you.
What did you do? You reversed straight up into his car. Here's the next thing. Okay, what did you guys think of that? Because then the mother's like, I taught her how to drive. And I was like, she floored it in reverse into the car behind her.
It's like, why did she floor it?
And
what was she thinking?
honestly, as I'm watching that first scene, because it's the you've got the driver and she's just kind of looking at him like you're a big geek, and she's got those sunglasses on and she's like got
These
him down.
exact almost ones. I have the blue
and
ones.
she's just like, I'm like, she's about to screw this up royally. She's gonna slam on the gas and take off Grand Theft Auto style.
Yeah, I think she was thinking she was going to be Carol Danvers with those aviators on.
I'm just wondering, like, did anyone at any point actually teach her how to drive? Because if you had actually ever learned how a car responds to
slamming on the gas,
doing anything with the car, yeah, you would know that that's a terrible in drive, in reverse, in anything. But then her parents showed up, they're like, I taught her how to drive myself. And then she also said something else ridiculous that was like, well, your mistake was putting her out here on the road while these cars are. And I'm like, where
it's
like, okay, so you're just a crazy bitch. You're not just like, I'm sorry. Like, if you're being completely unreasonable, which they are, that adds another level of like craziness to her parents. Because the thing, like I was saying, I can connect with incredibly strict parents. I remember the exact almost conversations that she's having with, like, you know, specific regional things aside or backgrounds aside, you know, I had those conversations, not being able to go places, not being able to do things just because the people there would be doing things. And so you got to sneak out and do things just like she did. That I could identify with. It was the parents then being that extra level of irrational, like to random people. Because my parents aren't like that. They would take it out on me. It would always be my fault. That would be for sure. It couldn't possibly be someone else. It would have to be my fault. So that I was just like, I don't know. These people were just they. I'm not saying they didn't lecture her and they had scenes where they do stuff like that, but in that whole car scene, I was just like, she got off so easy. She's getting off so easy. What do you guys think about the parents?
You know, it's interesting that they're so strict with her as far as, okay, you can't go to the party and you need to stay home and study and, you know, all of this stuff. But I kept looking at it, and I watched the show twice, or I watched the episode twice, and even on both episodes, I'm looking at it going, you are a Muslim family. It is well established that this is a Muslim family, but the mother doesn't wear a hijab. I mean, they're not very strict Muslim. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't know enough
not wearing the headdress
about the specifics of what's required for that, for me to really comment on that aspect of it.
Well, I mean,
I think they're
it's just me personally.
You can tell that, I'm not going to say favor the son, but he gets away with a lot of crap. I mean, he doesn't have
they favor him.
And he still lives at home. Maybe that's the culture. I don't know. But I mean, that dynamic when she first walks in the door, and you know, the father is saying something to the son about, you know, if you weren't praying all day, you could find a job.
Oh, I thought it was if you don't stop praying, you're going to starve to death.
Well, that too. Well, yeah, you could get a job was actually from the comics. I mean, that whole situation was right from the comics. So they just changed it up a little bit. But yeah. In the comics, he said if you weren't praying all day, you could get a job. And evidently he gets away with a lot. And he's supposed to be getting married. And I'm like, how is he going to be supporting his wife?
Yeah. I'm thinking they're Muslim, but they're not very strict Muslim. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like the how do I put this? The Hasidic Jews. they are not like that, to where, you know, the rules have to be followed exactly to the letter, and we're going to go by the Quran, and this is how we're going to live our lives. They're more of a, well, we live in America, we're going to be American, but we still have our religion to fall back on, kind of thing.
And there is the other girl that she
Yeah, the
knows
other girl with
that
the
is
girl.
Nakia.
And so, and there's different levels of how religiously strict specifically is any given family. And the interesting thing was, like, when they came to like the Captain Marvel suit and what she was going to be wearing, they never actually even looked at what she was going to be wearing. They just automatically made the other thing.
Yeah.
Which led for that funny moment. But the only reason they even came to that is because the brother went and talked to them. And so clearly she is struggling with some issues in her own household. What is her friend's name?
The guy?
Yes.
Bruno.
Bruno is in love with her. Bruno is deeply,
fresh and hard.
Deeply.
And the parents love Bruno.
Gone. Oh yeah.
Make him food but you know what? It's funny.
But it also sounds like he has a hard home life himself. It sounds like he's an orphan almost.
I was gonna say,
yeah, like he doesn't have family or something.
There's literally a line that's like, it's tough with him not having a family. And I'm like, well, what
exactly does that mean?
What? Yeah. What's your guardian situation? You seem to be a genius. I think he says at one point, I'm a genius.
I don't know, because
that could be exaggeration, because also his things seem to be malfunctioning. Like,
here's the thing too, and I didn't catch this on my first viewing. Luke told it to me on our second viewing. Is, you know, when we're first introduced to him, he's showing the dad the thing that he made, and it's like,
his Amazon.
Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah, I invented this and I built it, and Luke said, "You built an Alexa."
You built an Alexa, exactly.
Built an Alexa. You didn't build anything.
It's just special. A third-party Alexa is what it is. It's like, hey, you're not connected to the Amazon network now.
Well,
but
it's
like Linux.
I think his point more or less was, you didn't invent that. You just took somebody's idea and ran with it.
What is barf? I mean, that's.
In the comics, he's very intelligent. He has an IQ of 170.
We're also not saying that he's not smart here. Not just anyone can just throw together an Alexa. You know, if anyone can just be like, well, I've got a CD player and an old iPod, so I'll just make myself an Alexa. No, he's clearly an intelligent, beyond intelligent, genius.
Which makes his costume at AvengerCon all that better.
And it just shows it just shows how much he's macking on this girl. He's like, I don't care about this really. I'll be Bruce Banner. Done. Let me finish airbrushing your costume. Which he then touches immediately afterward on the part that he was just painting. And I'm like, what is this, Insta dry? Whatever.
Fast drying.
I'm here to nitpick. Yeah, it's I think the exaggeration of her, well, I don't know if they're exaggerating her artistic abilities or not, but I mean, it's like, how can you have so much of the show be about her YouTube? I mean, if she does her art, her vision, her imagination, but then
we need to get our head out of
it's not like a career path or anything. No one ever suggests that to her. As that just seems a little bit odd, especially with our principal being like, look, I'm groovy, I'm hip. Whoa, I'm on the announcements. Whoa, that's crazy. You guys can hear me.
Yeah, I was like, I have never known a
shut up. What
are
you doing? You're hip, you're cool. Oh, Isn't it crazy that you guys can hear me? No, that's why they invented the machine that you're using to talk to us. What kind of principal are you?
They've been around for a long
A
time.
long time. That's not even
in
new.
school when I was in school, and that was a long time ago.
Can you
They
imagine
had
this
them.
guy tweeting? He'd be like, "Whoa, this is crazy! I'm talking to people on the internet. Can you believe that?" Yes.
Yes.
What? That was so. I was like, "You talk about a principal? Are the children out of touch, or am I? No, it's the children who are wrong." Yeah, that Principal Skinner meme. Just like, am I so out of touch? No, it's the children who are wrong. But that's just so, like, he should be young enough to, I don't know. It's just like, how often do you do announcements like that? And it was just to her. And that's, when I talk about a non-reliable narrator, that's why I wonder, like, how much of any given thing that I'm watching, is that just her perception of how this guy is? Or is that actually how he is? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's hard to tell. I mean, a lot of the times you can tell what her point of view is, and then other times it's a little murky.
It's like, is this fantasy or is this reality, or is it like gently mixing some of the time? I'm kind of excited to see how that progresses, actually.
I don't know about gently mixing, because at some point, even, he's going off on a rant and he's talking to her and he's like, hey, come over here. Hey, come back to reality. Focus back in here, because this is what
he's like, yeah, 30 seconds for real.
Yeah.
And I guess that shows just what she is and isn't passionate about. I guess we should also bring up the fact that her powers come from a bracelet that showed up in a package from her grandmother.
I think Mom knows more than she is letting on.
Oh, yeah.
I think Mom knows exactly.
She keeps saying things that to me sound like crazy things that you'd only be saying if you knew more than, like, for instance, when she's talking at the end about, like, I've seen what happens to people that indulge too much in their fantasies, and I'm just like, and this is another problem I had with this, was like, this isn't a fantasy though. Well, I mean, some of it is, sure, like she has fantasy of being a superhero, but like the Avengers are real in your world. The whole Comic-Con aspect of the thing, I was like, it's one thing to dress up as a fictional character. How often do you see people dressing up as actual
living character,
people that existed in your? But again, maybe it's different in a comic book world and whatever. But it was just kind of, it made the whole thing.
Yeah, I think it was either.
There was one moment because they were like, "Woo, we're having fun! Yay, fun! We respect and remember you, Iron Man and Natasha.
Yeah.
Woo, crazy, having fun." I'm like, okay, all right. What'd you guys think about
AvengerCon?
Well, it was the first one, so
it was. That was another interesting aspect to it. That was the first one.
Having been to several Comic-Cons, which are you go to a
Comic-Con. The whole thing, like, that's a Comic-Con, and this is a real.
Well, I get that, but even Luke, who has been to several cons, has been like, that's not what they look like. They happen during the day, for one thing.
And it was like a carnival.
Yeah, it was like a carnival, or like if you see I've told him this before too. I'm like, when you see these kids in high school and they're having these parties where everybody's in the house and they're all dancing around and there's a pizza on the record player and all this other stuff, that doesn't happen. That's not how that works.
Well, I mean, the Comic-Cons today, well, I can only speak of Star Wars Celebration. I went to Celebration 2 and 3 because it was down here in Indianapolis. And the way those were done, I mean, I haven't been to any since, but just from what I see, on YouTube, because I usually try to watch the live panels when they're doing them during Celebration, and they are totally different from back then. I mean, totally different. There was none of this lottery crap, or I don't know. It's just really different.
Hey, you got to dress up as a hero. Geek and I podcast. I'm going to Dallas Fan Expo to dress as the guy who makes my coffee every morning at Dunkin'. Dress up like a hero. I hear you. I hear you.
By the way, I'll be at Fan Expo as well. That's John Biscardi. We'll be down there. Dave and I are both going. It's going to be amazing.
Are you also going to dress as a Dunkin' Donuts?
No, I have to go in an official capacity. But
you can't cosplay and be professional at the same time?
I guess not. Dave said no.
What if you cosplayed as like Tony Stark or something? Just put like a glove on your hand.
Get you some of those colored.
And it's like, where's your other suit? And you'd be like, I didn't pack anything other than whatever his line is from Civil War. When he's just dressed in his, you know what I'm referring to. Curses! I don't have that lined up in the.
A great bird.
No, it's not about a bird. I have all the birds. Oh well.
Yes,
Birds
come
are
to
what
Fan
they
Expo. Come see us. It's going to be great if you're in Dallas.
Yeah, and this is what I'm saying. Cosplay is Tony Stark.
Let the record reflect that I observed Mr. Hammer entering the chamber, and I am wondering if and when any actual expert will also be in attendance.
The problem with cosplaying Tony Stark is that he has such lovely suits that I don't have.
Right. Any kind of this. Yeah. He's got. Damn you, billionaires.
You make it so hard for the rest of us.
Right.
Are you kidding me? This baby is off the charts.
All right. Her costume. Well, we're talking about her mother knowing more than she lets on. That's why she saw the bracelet, and that's when she was like, put the box away.
It's just junk.
She knew what it was.
Put it in the attic.
Yeah, because of what she says at the end of the show. And then I don't know if you guys, because I had to hit replay several times, but when they're coming home from the disastrous driving test, she's kind of looking out the window fantasizing, and her mom and dad are talking, but her mom says that this fantasizing and its obsession runs in the family. It's in our genetics.
Yeah, I thought that was weird.
And I'm like, yeah,
It's a weird thing to
more
say.
than what you're letting on.
She keeps being afraid of. So I guess that's going to have something to do with her abilities. I don't know anything about.
I'm going to say that the grandmother knew something. The mother didn't like it.
It seems like it, because she also says when she gets back from AvengerCon way later than her projected time, she says, I knew what you would say. Just tell me some story about Nani. And that's the same person that sent the bracelet. And that's the same person that she's probably been referring to when it's like, I've seen. So, and again, this is the first episode, so I expect will be revealed more along these things.
The way she gets her powers here is totally different from the comics.
In the comics, she has totally different powers, doesn't she?
Yes. Yeah. She's got, in the comics.
She's an Inhuman.
Yeah. She gets I forget who releases
Terrigen
mist, and she becomes an Inhuman, and that's how she gets these stretchy powers. But I think they
right next to a huge steaming ball of foreshadowing.
Get away from that, so not to be compared with Reed Richards whenever they decide to show up.
I think
right, the stretch because a lot of people.
I think going with the power that's coming from a bracelet, it ties really well with Shang-Chi as well. Because you've got him, and he's got the 10 rings, and we don't know where these.
And they're bracelets now. I don't know why they called him and the 10 bracelets. Let's just call them what they are, or arm ring. I don't know. I'm still sore over that. They should be on the fingers, and they should each have a different power, not just like I shoot them at people and I use them to blast off. Yay, generic superhero. But whatever. I always love a good red versus orange fight.
She did use a stretchy hand kind of thing, though.
Sorry.
When she caught
blue
Zoe.
versus orange fight. It's blue versus red sometimes. I'm sorry, but Shang-Chi, the end of it, the rings blasting. It could have been so much better if he had 10 different powers, and maybe they'll change it up. They're maybe setting him up to learn the true powers of the rings, because it seems like his dad didn't. Oh, Rings of Power. Speaking of which, let's plug Amazon's Rings of Power coming up, which is probably going to be a disaster. Anyway, stop being so cynical. Me. Yeah, the bracelet. It's different. It's more in line with Captain Marvel energy projection powers than.
Yeah, I think there's a couple theories that they could either be. I thought I had typed it up, but evidently I did not. But they are either
aliens,
nega bands, or quantum bands.
Great Scott!
I know this is.
What does that mean?
I don't know. Well, the nega bands evidently take you to a, from what I understand, like a negative space or negative plane.
Nega Scott.
Which kind of might explain when she first put on her bracelet and she kind of fell backwards.
Well, this seems like
where we see the people that look like freaking Jawas. But
we're gonna watch the opener again right now, because this is gonna combine everything we were talking about: the car crash, the falling backward.
Theme song guy.
Oh yeah!
So you saw there when she fell back into that. What sort of world was this? I don't know.
it might be a different type of ancestral plane of some sort. I'm not quite sure, because evidently there seems to be different different types. So
Well, it does seem like they're trying to tie a lot of these new heroes to, I mean, you have like Moon Knight with Egypt. We have Black Panther. They're going back there. And as far as afterlives and things, they spend a lot of time in Moon Knight looking at different, not a lot of time there, but I mean, considering how much time they could have spent, which is none, they looked at different afterlives, talked about different afterlives. Black Panther's already done that. This certainly looked to be another sort of glimpse into another realm. Now that, I mean, they're in the multiverse now, so they've got to at least identify all the realms within their own verse. What a conundrum. Oh my goodness.
well, something needs to be deleted. Get down.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
Oh, trolls. Gotta love them.
Love them, love them.
You don't have to.
I don't have to do anything you tell me, Debbie.
I'm older than you.
What did you guys think about when she started accidentally using her powers at AvengerCon? And everyone was just like, wow, what a great costume.
Yeah, it actually works. Yeah, I don't I don't understand. I mean, is it some kind of crystal power of some sort, or not power, but I mean, when she starts shooting off things, they look like crystallized rocks or something.
Looks like she's become a human platformer.
But again, she did use the
Like she
stretchy
can just-
hand at one point. She used the when Zoe got hit by the swinging Mjolnir, which was hilarious, by the way. And
Yeah, she should have been dead.
oh, I know, right? Especially she got smashed. She got hit, smashed, went back this way, and then smashed again. Jeez.
Yeah. I was like, they didn't save her. That should have killed her. Should have done something. What was that made of? What was that Jonathan made of?
And
when I
Styrofoam,
say
probably.
Jonathan, I mean Mjolnir. There was a giant swinging hammer. It pendulums down, catches her in the chest, and I was like, "Oh my god!" When it first hit, I was like, "She died." That's what I was watching. I was like, "Oh my!" They killed the popular girl. I was like, "Everyone's gonna love this show." I remember in Mean Girls when she gets hit by a bus, and I was like, "That's the best part." And I had a friend who was watching it at my house. It was the first time he'd ever seen it, and he had to leave. He had to leave before the DVD was over. There you go. And he was like, "What happened?" So I was like, "Oh, she gets hit by a bus." And he didn't believe me for years, and then he actually ended up seeing it again. He was like, "I thought you were just screwing with me." You were like, she gets hit by a bus. I was like, "No, she gets hit by a bus, and it is glorious."
Yes.
Yeah, so she gets hit by that hammer, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, they killed her," or they paralyzed her or something. But now she's fine. She's just like grabbing onto it. "Oh no, I've been hit by youth." I don't know. How'd you grab onto it too? That she just like knocked her into the.
Just knocked
You know
her
what I
down.
mean? She just like boom, either knocked her straight down or like knocked her back, but she somehow like grabs onto this hammer, and then she becomes this swinging spectacle of
Well,
nonsense.
She grabs.
Look
hold
at
of-
the girl in the miniskirt.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah,
But then she
that
gets
was a little-
saved. Ant-Man's head falls down into a pot of water. And everyone at the time, like so many people are thinking like, this is part of the show. None of those people, you know how long it took anyone to start running? It was like really a long time. Everyone was like, this is great.
Even after the head fell, they were sitting there. But you know what though? That's the nature of some of these geeky people, and we all fall into this category of you see something spectacular, you don't care what's going on over here. This guy's got a great costume, and we love it.
Is this part of the show? Wow, they went all out on this one. It looks like those people are actually dying.
And then you're like, oh, well, maybe they are.
Oh crap, this is a real emergency. Well, you don't want to be the first one to freak out. Look at the babies running away. They think this is real. Oh crap, this is real. Run away. I thought that was pretty hilarious. Amongst everything about that whole convention, I can actually see why her mother might be more concerned about it, especially if like comic book conventions aren't a thing. So this is the first. This is just like a crazy carnival of fans of these heroes. Who knows who will be there? Any person ever, probably. And that's, I mean, this is the kind of convention that someone like Kick-Ass would show up to. You know, like, I'm taken to the streets. I'm a vigilante and I'm fighting the good fight. So anyone could be there, potentially. Yeah, in this world, it could be a much more dangerous place than I think you want to give it credit for. Because looking at it, everyone just thinks Carnival or Comic-Con. But really, it's kind of a little bit more than that. It could be a focus for, who knows, all these kind of superhero freaks that live out here in this one of these X-Men that I've been hearing about. Which one of them would show up?
Oh, that would be good. What a way to introduce them.
In Miss Marvel.
Through Miss Marvel.
And I love how how everybody knows pretty much exactly what happened in the events of Infinity War and Endgame.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they do.
Or they
Yeah.
make it up because she was like, and then Miss Marvel showed up, or Captain Marvel showed up and punched him in the face. And I was like, you forgot the part where he punched her in the face.
Well, it's
In that YouTube
I don't
video,
think anyone else could have done that.
in that YouTube video, it talks about Scott Lang, Ant-Man, and his podcast.
yes.
And he's telling everybody, and it's probably if it's him and Luis doing this, you know
I'm
how
telling you, man.
Luis
So the
kind
next
of
one, yeah.
exaggerates things. So some things,
And then everyone was like, "Oh, no."
right, and other things are probably way.
What are we
blown
gonna
out of
do?
proportion.
This spaceship's gonna obliterate all of us. And then Captain Marvel showed up. Perfect timing. Yes, let's all praise her for not being here sooner. She could just shut this whole thing down.
Although I will say,
Just kidding. But still.
if we see Ant-Man and Quantumania, and he's doing a scene with a podcast that ties back to this show.
Oh,
and
I
and it
hope
doesn't
they
even
do.
have to. It doesn't have to mean anything. He's just, it could just be here we're reintroducing the character to you, and he's doing a podcast right now.
Shut up and take my money.
Yes,
It's a
exactly.
podcast I would listen to. I don't know if they videotape it, but and I don't listen to podcasts because I only live like 5 minutes from work, so I have no time. but that one I would watch, especially if Luis was in there giving commentary. It would be hilarious.
Yak. And who's the FBI guy that was watching over him?
Cleary.
Well, no, that was in Miss Marvel. I was talking about Ant-Man.
Oh, Woo.
Woo.
Oh,
Agent
Woo.
Woo.
Agent Woo.
Yeah, I was like, he should be on the podcast. It should be him, him and Woo. I think that would be great.
Lang and Woo.
I would love that. But Daddy, I'm glad you brought that up. Cleary, yes. So
Agent
back
Cleary
to
and Agent Deaver. That was the Deaver was the female.
is that the mid-credit scene is when that happens?
Yes.
Right. So we do have a mid-credit scene in the show where we're in a random office, some sort of law. We're gonna catch the bad guys.
Agent-
There's a interrogation room present, but they're agents at work, and the lady's like, "Hey, look at this, Avenger Con," and the guy's like, "Probably just some bad cosplay," and then she's like, "I don't think so." And then he's like, "Scoop her up." But basically, they have the video. We saw the person taking the video at AvengerCon.
And these
Her
were
powers are
these
out
were
there.
the two that were in No Way Home.
Yeah, they're the part of the
Department
What's
of
it called?
Damage Control.
damage control. That's right. Responsible for getting involved with containing powered individuals. Now that S.H.I.E.L.D. is S.H.I.E.L.D. I guess is still whatever it is. Who knows?
Shield doesn't exist anymore. It's Sword now.
Agent Fury was actually is secretly
A scroll.
a scroll. Yeah. Secret invasion needs to happen so we can figure out who's actually anyone. Hey, look, the multiverse is out there. Hold on. We don't know who we are.
We need to fix us first. We need to work on
Yeah,
us.
before I can go out there into a multiverse, I need to fix this first. Let's focus on verse 1 before we get to anyway. Yes, those agents show up. So apparently damage control is going to start controlling
Harassing her.
the damage. I don't know. We'll see. How do you think they do damage control? I mean, what did they do in Spider-Man? Served her or served them a lawsuit or something? Like,
Yeah, evidently. I mean,
they didn't do much to stop. Like, they never were like, did they put him in jail?
just
watch
their
that movie
interrogation.
Yeah, they let him
And
go.
evidently Matt
Yeah.
Murdock was brought in and
Yeah, he's a
maybe
good
it's not
lawyer,
away.
so maybe he can come back again.
Oh,
But she's not in New York. She's in Jersey City.
yeah.
It's like,
Jersey City. Don't forget it.
And just so you know, I did start watching the Daredevil show. I'm about halfway through the second season now. So,
gosh.
How you feeling about it?
oh, I'm loving it. Holy crap. Vincent D'Onofrio has every movie that I have seen him in, he has yet to fail me as whatever character he's playing. So good. Just love him to death.
Yeah, and he does an amazing job as Wilson Fisk. I mean, that's one of the reasons they brought him back. And I think, what do you think of Charlie Cox?
Oh, he's great. I like him and Fulton from the Mighty Ducks. Froggy, yeah. Every time I see him, I'm just like, yeah, go start playing hockey, turkey.
He's so cute.
I think some of that stuff was drawn out a little bit, but I think that was the nature of the way they were making the show and the way that it was a Netflix series
Had to
as
have some
opposed to
filler
like
episodes.
Yeah. But I think for the most part, I super enjoyed Daredevil. I'm glad they brought back, because I was wondering, that was one of the things that people were wondering, when all these deals were going down, are these characters that we liked from the Netflix shows going to be coming over? Is Deadpool going to still be Ryan? All these things that were up in the air. Yes, Deadpool's still going to be Ryan Reynolds. Apparently, yes, that's still going to be rated R. Yes, they're making a new Daredevil series. Yes, it's going to be Charlie Cox, and Vincent D'Onofrio has already been in Hawkeye.
And
the Echo series has been announced, and he's actually a big part of her story.
Yeah,
because he's like an adoptive father to her. If you've watched Hawkeye, you already know that, but that's also in the comics. That's something that he was in an interview saying he wanted to explore further on, and I'm sure that Disney would love to utilize him and the popularity of Daredevil as much as possible.
good. Let him utilize.
Yeah, and I don't
play the character. It's great.
Yeah.
Whatever that is, just keeps dropping them.
Well, yeah, there's some sort of bot that's attacking, but I'm deleting it, and don't worry about that.
Oh, I'm not worried about it. I'd be worried if you were putting it up on the screen.
Me too.
So the
villain,
the villain for this show.
Yes. Okay. So hold on. Before you go there, this is one of the things that I have really just at this point now thoroughly enjoyed this show. I have really liked it. In fact, as of right now, just one episode in, it's probably the better of the Marvel series that have been out. And the thing is I don't like the character. I have never been a fan of Miss Marvel, but the way that they are portraying her, the way that she is, the actress that they have carrying her, I think is amazing, and I'm loving it. And I'm loving the fact that one, this is a brand new character. We have not seen anything from her, so all of this origin is completely new. You had Falcon and the Winter Soldier. You knew who those characters were. You had Hawkeye. You knew who Hawkeye was. You had WandaVision. You knew who Wanda was, and you knew who Vision was. They were established characters. It was like, this is just a continuance of their story. But now you get to Miss Marvel, and it's something new. It's something exciting. And there has not been any mention of the villain yet. In all of these series, the villain has always like at least poked his head in the first episode. And you look at it, that's the bad guy there. He's the guy that they're going to fight it out at the end. But you didn't have that in this one. As far as I could tell, in this one, the only villain was her mother. But
Darth Vader.
yeah, well, I mean, and again, that's why I like it, because you are establishing this character before you throw them into the fire, basically. So
Yeah.
just my thought.
Well, it is. I mean, it's first episode, so. But like you said, a lot of these other characters have already been established, so you have to introduce the threat sooner, because their normal life is being an Avenger or being part of this world. So changing that, that's already part of their existence.
Yeah.
With her, she's just looking at it from afar. And I think it's going to be one of those things, because it seems like she got exactly what she wanted already in the first episode. And so that's going to be one of these be careful what you wish for, unintended consequences, all different kinds of, and great power comes great responsibility. So it's not just all going to be like, hey, everything's great now that I've got a superpower. Like, do you think that's how all those other people, like all those heroes felt? Oh, including the two dead ones and the ones that you don't know where they are. And yeah, suddenly the stakes go up. So I don't know how hard you thought it was being a regular high school student, but you're about to be a superpowered high school student. Congratulations. That always just goes easily as pie.
They made 3 Spider-Man movies about it.
I'm telling you, and Danny Phantom, great show. He had ghost powers. He was on Nickelodeon. And the high school, it's the Powerpuff Girls, they were like preschool. I mean, bam, it's things get complicated. You have more to deal with than your every you have your high school problems. We saw tons of them. We saw all her problems. She failed at driving. She sucks at driving. She can't drive.
She has no friend.
And by the way, when I say she can't drive, I mean, if that is a display of her actual skill at driving, that was awful.
She's not athletic because she gets bonked in the head with the basketball. And she might be, I'm not going to say, well, possibly clumsy because they show her doing some kind of chemistry experiment and it explodes.
Yeah, the chemistry experiment explodes.
She tries to jump out the window onto a branch and falls on her
branch.
Well, I don't know what was so funny was the fact that she had told that part of the story earlier, and of course she did the superhero landing. There it was superhero landing. But then also when she jumped and she hit the ground and all she's doing is looking up. She doesn't say ow. She says, that was my way back in. Yes.
That's youth.
Oh man, that was my way back in. Now what am I gonna do?
Whatever.
Hilarious.
Back on mission. And this is all before any superpowers emerge. Really, she's gonna have so much more to deal with tomorrow. There's so many. That video went out. So those agents have it. We saw that in the after but the internet has it. Who is that girl? Well, I don't think no one saw her without her mask or whatever. But then also later they're riding on the street on the bike, and I'm like, well, now take it off. You got a light on your head. What are you doing? What? Do we not get how this whole thing works? And I don't know how it does work, because with the cameras nowadays everywhere, if you could get someone that could tap into every camera,
which they do in S.H.I.E.L.D. because for a fact that that was the first Avengers movie. If it's got a camera on it, we have eyes and ears.
Mm-hmm.
That's something they keep doing more commonly, and then you can't use that as a plot device. And then it's like, well, why didn't you have this? Why didn't you know this? That guy doesn't have a phone.
Yeah, right.
They have a SIM card that outwits our algorithm. Okay, forget about it. Whatever. It's not that important. Let's just.
They're
get on
still
with the
using an
fantasy.
iPhone 5. We have no idea of that technology. That's outdated and antiquated.
So, possible villain. I don't know if it's been verified or not.
Mephisto?
No.
Wow.
No, that's been confirmed.
And I'm probably not saying the name right. Camran, Kamran. I think from the trailers, he might be the guy that she's just like falling head over heels. I mean, you know, she sees him at this pool party or whatever, and she's just like gaga, you know. So he might be the villain. He's able to, at least in the comics, he's able to transfer energy into objects and can, if he wants to, make them explode.
Like Gambit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was one of the
And then we
sexiest
have
of the X-Men.
yeah. Then we have now he's not going to be a villain, at least I don't think so. Red Dagger. Now in the comics, he is a Pakistan hero. No powers, but he is very skilled with daggers and knives and fighting skills and everything like that.
I assume they're red. No, they start out regular colors.
Or maybe red wears a red hoodie.
I don't actually know if that's true. I just made that up. That's what I would do.
You have to wear red so villains don't see you bleed.
That's correct.
We learned that in Deadpool.
Because she meets him when her and her family go to Pakistan to visit family. I don't think they're going to do that part. I think possibly he'll come in as maybe like a foreign exchange student, maybe. And then there was one other one, which this is really far-fetched. But when they were sitting on the roof, you could see a neon sign in back.
Said
Thomas Edison.
Yeah, Edison Electric, yeah.
That was the name of a villain in the comics. He's called the Inventor, but he's a clone of Thomas Edison, which I thought was funny. It could just be a nod to the comics. I'm just saying. But I thought what would be a twist is maybe this Thomas Edison guy is Bruno's guardian.
Ooh, what's a twist?
With the twist. So, but in the comics, Bruno is her sidekick. He helps her with her powers, with his supposed scientific.
Does she keep
knowledge.
a secret identity?
I think so. I could be wrong, but
That's gonna be crazy. Yeah, I don't know anything. I'm kind of like learning about this character as I watch the show. I probably should do research, but I don't want to. I kind of want to just
what I'm here
see
for.
it as a.
But okay,
happens,
Debbie.
so.
What series is this off of, though? Based on what we know of Miss Marvel at this point, what is there a particular comic book that I need to go out and buy if I wanted to read this story?
Well, I got on Marvel.com and there really wasn't that many comic books. I mean, I could only find like 5 or 6. I mean, she came out in 2016, I believe. Now, she was in other comics, like she was on the Avengers team. And I'm throwing this theory out there that this is leading up to Champions. We've already got 3 of the members coming in already. We got Miss Marvel. We have Red Dagger, who hasn't been shown yet, but he's on the team. Ironheart.
Which I think she's coming up.
And Miles Morales.
Hmm.
So, I mean, over the years, the team has changed, but these guys have been on that team. So this might be leading into Champions. I mean, I was right about Thunderbolts way back during Falcon and Winter Soldier. So thank you. Applause.
Go ahead. Go ahead and gloat.
Just kidding. I'm just kidding. And she might, in the comics, she does also go against Kang, the Conqueror. So
If Sam Rockwell comes back in Armor Wars, It's just gonna. You're gonna be. I'm gonna just be like, "What do you gotta say now?" Or something even more horrible. But that's what I'm hoping for. Out of things that I want to see, like, Thunderbolts, yeah, new Young Avengers, woo, champion. I want to see all that stuff more than anything, though. Sam Rockwell coming back in Armor Wars and just giving Don Cheadle the roughest time of his life. And he got shot in the back by Vision and became paralyzed. So for Sam Rockwell to be giving him the roughest time of his life, that's pretty serious. All right. Anything else on Miss Marvel?
No.
Great
Good
show.
show so far. I'm looking forward to where they're going to go with this. So
I'm curious about the character now, and I'm thinking I might want to go out and buy a comic book or two and find out what I can find out.
Well, remember, the character only came out in
she hadn't been around for
2016, and originally it was an Inhuman, and now they've changed the power. So I don't know. Just you might want to be looking up a newer, even the most recent, rather than
the most recent line.
Yeah. Not that that's going back very far.
Like
I guess
said,
that's easier than if you were trying to learn about another character. It's like, well, this character's been around for 80 years, and there are.
I want to learn everything I can about
iterations
or Superman. Yes.
Yeah, like I said, there wasn't very many comics, like maybe five or six at the most.
Yeah, and the original was stretchy, and then I know there was. I want to say a backlash, but there was a bunch of people going like, all right, Reed Richards. Yeah. And this is, and the whole thing was she was a fan of Captain Marvel. And so that's why she took on the moniker of
Marvel, taking
after her, even though her powers were different. But now they're just like, you know what? Let's make her powers look more like, or maybe it's similar. More in this universe, and this isn't the comics universe. And I know that she herself playing the character has been like, it's not the 616 universe, it's the 199999. Which, well, how could it be the comics universe? Because that's literally, if we're taking this all literally, which I assume now we are. That's literally a comic book page where this universe is literally whatever we get on the screen. So I don't know how to solve that debate, Kevin Feige. Good luck. You gave her your number and she's going to keep texting you. But I think that's fun and good. Someone should be bugging him about these things. I can't do it. I got to do this.
We know Kevin. We know he's watching. He's watching.
He's paying attention.
He's not commenting, but he's watching. We
taking notes. Maybe those were from him.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Thanks for everyone that tuned in on another MCU Mondays. We also have on Thursday David's Star Wars show. So if you want to talk about Star Wars, you're saying, I don't care about Miss Marvel, I want to talk about Kenobi. Thursday is where you want to be. You're going to be talking about, I guess, episode 5.
Episode 5, yep.
My goodness, it's almost over.
I know,
feels
right?
like it just began.
You know, we had the 2 on Friday, the 27th, and then there was another one on that Wednesday. Well, the next show was, we had one show, and it was a marathon. 2 hours we went. But we had 3 episodes to cover. I was like,
a lot to cover, yeah.
Holy smokes, we're halfway through this thing already in less than a week.
Boom. We're going to see what's going to happen. I don't know. And I'll probably, I don't know if I want to jump in at this point or if I just want to come in later after the whole thing's finished. And maybe, what are you talking about after, like the week after Kenobi is done?
I don't know. I haven't thought that far.
Bring me in and I'll be in and I'll just be like, all right, let's jive.
Why the series are not good or are they great.
Hey,
I've had this argument with my
There's
son.
a lot of things I like about it, there's also plenty of things that I'm like, I feel reasonably what? I want to wait until the end before I really start talking about it. So
after my son watched the first 3 episodes, we started texting at like, I don't know, 6 or 7 o'clock at night. And it went close to midnight because he's arguing. I'm proving my point. Because
you can't get in conversations with these people. I tease. So I just, there's conversations, there's back and forth, and then there's just arguing. And I think a lot of Star Wars arguing should just be I'm not saying all. There's plenty that I think it's good. A lot of it is good-natured discussion, just like in Marvel. But it gets to this point where it's like, I have this opinion, it's never going to change, and I have this opinion, and it's never going to change. Let's just... No, you're not getting anywhere. Just go your separate ways, go talk to some other people, but you are not going to change, especially, and then it just devolves into nonsense, and it's like, there's different ways to enjoy.
Like I said last week on the Star Wars show, I mean, some people have got this expectation way up here, and when it doesn't follow through, they get pissed off and start criticizing it. And a lot of these people, I guess, were thinking this was going to be like a live action Clone Wars flashback, all 6 episodes, that, they think it's supposed to be all about Vader and Kenobi. Well, I mean, it is.
Well, it should have been much more about, it should be much more about Kenobi than it is. It shouldn't include a part where he can't move a little screw on a bench and then 10 minutes later is holding back an ocean with the Force, is what it is. Because there are things called setup and payoff when you're writing a character, and if he's going to be a dejected, no Force having whatever, there should be a reason he's suddenly able to use the Force again to such effect. And if you don't have that, what are you doing?
He does have that. He's trying to protect Leia. I mean, you got stormtroopers coming out.
Where did that come from? He was trying to do that the whole time. He's literally sitting on the bench trying to move a screw, and he can barely do it. He's like, I can almost move a tiny little screw towards me on this bench. And then later it's like, deflect these blaster bolts. And maybe that's just martial training that he remembers, but even that should be more Force related. But if you can't move a screw earlier on, why can you now, just because of protecting her? What were you doing when you were on Tatooine? I gave up entirely there. Weren't you protecting Luke? But this is not what we're here to talk about. We're actually closing down.
Come see us Thursday.
You and my son will get along very well.
Well, we probably both really love Obi-Wan Kenobi. And of course, you can have a differing opinion, and it's fine.
I still love you, Chris. It doesn't matter.
Good.
But now, in whatever year this is, the audience wants action and seats with beverage holders, but mainly action.
Anyway, that's it for us here on MCU Mondays. Tune in on Thursday for more Star Wars. Thursday on the Geek News Now Cantina Happy Hour. Is that in the right order?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a mouthful.
It is.
The Geek News Now Cantina Happy Hour. All right. I'm looking forward to it. I've wanted to be on the show the past couple of weeks, but I haven't also because I didn't know if you wanted that one. And I feel like that's why I want to just wait. Like, let's wait till it's over. Everyone gets to say their piece. And then later, it's like, let's bring in this. And then you play the Jaws theme. And then I'll be like, here I am to talk about the thing that I love to hate to love. I don't even know anymore.
What's the matter? You missed that? It's okay, I can do it again.
Since we're going over, I'm just going to play a couple of your favorites, David.
Is that a fanny pack? I used to have one of those in 1990. Never.
Retrieving something from my utility bag.
It's a goddamn fanny pack, and you know it, you sick son of a bitch. The difference is night and day.
We're getting out of here.
The difference is night and day.
You remind me of my wife.
I'm sorry?
I said you remind me.
No, I'm sorry that you said that while making heavy eye contact and applying lip balm.
We're out of here. That's it for us tonight. Thank you for joining us. We'll be here every Monday that we're here to talk about, well, Marvel stuff. And of course, on Thursdays, you got Star Wars.